වේ පිටියේ ජයදා ජලලදේ රැහසේ Champions League එක හද ගැස්මේ හැඟුමන් කික්වේ ජවයෙන් නැරවෙන්නේ පාඩිදුලන්නේ විහිදී දසතේ ගෝල් එක ගන්නයි සිත් සැරසෙන්නේ සැමරොක් වෙන්නේ සද්දෙට දෙන්නේ We are one game One heart One game, one heart Champions League This is where we start Together we dream, together we fight We are the champions The call is clear, the Champions League is finally One game, one heart, Champions League This is where we start Together we dream, together we fight We are the champions One dream that we defend மரங்கள் கிக்க ஆகுமே களத்தில் உறுதியாய் மின்னவும் நாமே Champions League வரவே உணர்வதற்கே தருமே Cheer එකයි කැම්මක් දෙන්නේ කොල්ලෝ සෙට් එකම එක් වෙන්නේ ගෝල් එකට කික් එක දෙන්නේ Champions League මේ ඇරෙන්නේ Champions League සටනයි ඇරමෙන්නේ පිපිදෙන්නේ ජයගන්නේ එක සිහිනට අපි යන්නේ One game, one heart Champions League where dreams take part Raise your flags, feel the art Football, one game, one heart Hey oh, one dream, one star Hey oh, one game, one heart Champions League, forever we play The spirit of
Hello and welcome to the Racecourse International Stadium here from the heart of Colombo as we bring to you once again yet another fixture from this Champions League tournament by Sri Lanka football. And this time it's match number 33. Gampala's very own Crystal Palace FC taking on SERENDIB SC in this clash. We've got a beautiful setup here. Once again, hot weather, 30 degrees, sun shining on the pitch here at the Racecourse International Stadium and slight breeze blowing through this space as well. So it's going to be a challenging environment regardless for these players, particularly as the conditions, although ideal from a spectator standpoint, are not really the most conducive for the athletes. Now, if you are watching this and you want to share other platforms to family and friends both here and around the world, Sri Lanka Football's Facebook and YouTube pages will give you access to this game. Supreme TV will be our terrestrial broadcaster for this game as well, and of course, as always, around the world, we will be available on www.thepapare.com. And here is the updated points table as of the latest situation. Sri Lanka Transport Board rooted to the bottom of the table after their loss yesterday against Negombo Youth, and Negombo Youth, as a result of that 3-1 win, leapfrogging Crystal Palace and putting Crystal Palace just above SLTB. In the meantime, New Star running away with it, 12 points, followed very closely by Saunders and Serendib. So those three in the top, one win or one loss one way or the other, can potentially change the game. Serendib in particular, with a victory in this game, can jump over Saunders and potentially hold fort as one of the leaders in this tournament, and particularly in Group A. Java Lane and Negombo Youth make the rest of the table, and they will be playing this match week as well. But for the moment, it's Serendib's chance to really seal the deal for themselves. And here's a look at your fixtures and results from this game week so far. Sri Lanka Transport Board, after a spirited affair in what was a poor game, to be honest, Sri Lanka Transport Board lost out to Negombo Youth 3-1 after taking an initial shocker of a lead through Sandev Shanmugaraja. Super Sun and Pelicans battled it out in a 0-0 draw in what was a keenly contested game. Crystal Palace coming on now versus Serendib SC, followed by Mathura City and Solid SC from Anuradhapura in the late kick-off. St. Mary's, Jaffna and Sri Lanka Police, a high-profile clash taking place at 4 p.m. tomorrow, followed by the battle of Sri Lanka's football old guard, a clash of the old titans, Java Lane and Saunders, taking each other on at 8 p.m. in the late kick-off tomorrow. And now we wait on for the final proceedings and formalities prior to kick-off as the teams walk out onto the pitch. Sampath Liyanagundawardena once again in charge of this one, ably assisted by Asela Sirivardhana and R.A.I. Ratnayaka. Tusita Samira going to be holding fort as the fourth official. Match commissioner for today's game, our very own Navod Vijay Vikrama as well. So an opportunity for Serendib to get to the top of the table, an opportunity for Crystal Palace to leave that rather unideal position of being the team just above Sri Lanka Transport Board. So all to play for in this game, and if nothing else, for pride of place. And final exchanging of pleasantries here between the two sides. So well then, Serendib SC in their white strip with the pink shorts. One final photograph led by Vignesh Vijayakumar in that number 9 shirt. And on the other side, Crystal Palace in that blue strip. Crystal Palace, of course, in the recently concluded cyclone, had a lot of their training facilities affected as well, as their home turf was one of the hardest hit areas in the whole country. So Mohammad Shamak and his team has had to bounce back from those less than ideal conditions. Just one final handshake prior to the coin toss.
And these are our officials for today. Taking on proceedings will be Sampath Liyanagundawardena in the middle of the pitch, and assisting him we'll be having Asela Sirivardhana from the line, as well as R.I.A. Ratnayaka, and the fourth official, of course, Tusita Samira.
And very quickly having a look at these lineup, Mohammad Shamak in the skipper's armband in the defense, ably assisted by Michael, and also playing in front of Mohammad Riflan. Sinarasa Askar and Sivashelvam Dushantan will be leading the line, with Mohammad Inam ably assisted by Isaac Abba, Mohammad Sajid and Godwin.
Of course, this is the team lineup of Serendib. We'll be having Vignesh Jayakumar leading the team, and we'll be having Rishad Umar, Mohammad Riaz, Mohammad Rahman, Mohammad Farhan, Vijay Kumar Abhishan, Mohammad Lutfi in goal, Frimpong Yao, Subhashana Fernando, Odom Enoch, and Darko George will be looking to make a difference today.
Absolutely, and I will be failing in my duty if I don't formally welcome Bilal Marika into the commentary box. Bilal, pleasure to have you.
Very good evening, Deshan.
And
Pleasure to be here as well.
I think given both our routes, I think slightly more partisan to Crystal Palace.
The moment we've been waiting for.
Definitely.
Let the
Looking forward
countdown
to a
begin.
match which Crystal
5,
Palace can bounce back in.
4,
Haven't had the most ideal
3,
start to the season,
2,
this tournament.
1.
With a win in their last game, they'll be looking to bring in that confidence as well.
Absolutely, and so for those of you just joining us, Crystal Palace in the blue strip playing from left to right on your screens, whereas Serendib are going to be playing right to left in those white shirts and pink shorts. And very early doors, Mohammad Shamak has made a bit of a meal of that one. Very fortunate that ball didn't quite bounce the right way, and the shot comes in very early doors. And that should be an early wake-up call on that occasion, as Frimpong Yao hits that with his left foot, catches it beautifully, but just flying over the bar a little bit. And based on what we saw there, Mohammad Riflan was not ready for that one.
Serendib wanting to start this game off very strong here. And of course, the overseas players have been quite good for them. And, the team will be depending on them in this game as well. Especially players of the caliber of Enoch, who have been bossing that midfield and doing his part in the defense as well.
And again, a bit of a risky pass there by Hemantha Bandaragoda. And now Crystal Palace pushing forward for the first time, taking no chances. But absolutely, like Bilal said, Serendib SC, quite a number of overseas players representing them here, as Subhashana Fernando puts the ball into the box. Fortunately for them, nothing doing, but heavy reliance on some of the overseas talent. There's a bit of twisting and turning here, trying to create some space for themselves. Ball comes in. A first corner now for Serendib SC, who seem to have taken to the game with a sense of urgency that Crystal Palace are yet to find.
Serendib FC have already had 2 threatening moves so far. Here's them now with another attacking set piece into the box, flighted in. Doesn't get the connection they need, but they're still on the move here. Still flirting around in the box. Well defended there by Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace will have to do something here in order to retain the ball. Slow things down just a little bit. Here they are now with a chance.
A hopeful attack there, but trying to do too much on his own, and Enoch Odum shutting the door in his face.
Didn't have much support in that counter for Crystal Palace.
Hemantha Bandaragoda with a less than impressive cross there. So Crystal Palace choosing to go short, not really doing anything much with it.
Here's Crystal Palace now with a little bit of possession, and they'll have to do well to slow down possession here. It's interesting to note that SERENDIB are playing with 5 players in their defense, while Crystal Palace are just sporting 3 defenders. SERENDIB, of course, have a very strong set of defenders as well, led by Enoch, the overseas player for SERENDIB, who had a cracker of a match last game as well. And in these opening few minutes, it's Crystal Palace who seem to be a bit under the pump here. SERENDIB haven't really managed to convert any of their opportunities so far. But how many more times can they thwart this SERENDIB attack? Yes, SERENDIB now with another cross. Not the best of crosses, as it's just kicked into a wall of Crystal Palace players. Crystal Palace are yet to enjoy a little bit of possession. They've been deprived of it in these opening 5 minutes.
Game yet to really settle, and ball finding its way, exchanging hands quite a bit so far. Riflan steps out of his box, less than convincing clearance, but bit of a soft foul on that occasion because the Crystal Palace lad did get the ball first, and as a result, a bit of a tumble on the part of Frimpong Yao, but from the looks of it, Mohamed Inam did everything right, but now play continues. SERENDIB in the box, and once again now an opportunity for SERENDIB to get the ball into the box and really challenge the opposition.
It's been a real onslaught in these opening few minutes, Deshan. SERENDIB has kept on coming, wave after wave of attack. That was a close one once again, still with an opportunity.
Less than convincing stuff from Riflan, and SERENDIB tried to get a shot again, but blocked. Crystal Palace living on the edge, and that seems like that's the first goal, but no. The linesman looks at it and no, they've awarded the goal. And from what I can understand, the momentum that Riflan was going back it to try and save that has resulted absolutely. But fantastic work there by Frimpong Yao. We'll see if we can bring you the earlier angle again, but by the looks of it, he was very much over the line.
From this angle, it definitely looks like Riflan has just shoved it into the goal, but seems like there's a bit of confusion in the middle of the pitch as well.
Absolutely, I didn't see any major signaling on the part of the linesman there. And unfortunately, we don't have goal line technology here at the Champions League, but the referee, Sampath Lianagunawardana, has decided that that has crossed the line. And now they're bringing this back. Mohamed Semak and keeper Riflan has now been booked for dissent by the looks of it, and that should be that. So
Riflan was absolutely convinced that he did well enough to stop the ball from going into the goal, but even from this angle, it looked like it was a goal.
Yeah,
He just shoved it into.
absolutely. It was the momentum that kind of took him over the line. And credit to Yao for putting them in a position where they had to make that save, and as a result, Frimpong Yao.
Serendib not settling down after that goal. They want another one. And it definitely looked like that goal was inevitable. It was only just a matter of time that Serendib would penetrate this Crystal Palace defense. They haven't really looked very good on the defensive aspect of things, Crystal Palace, even in their last few games. Serendib have definitely done their homework here.
As this tournament has progressed, you really can see why the teams at the top are closer to the top. Why teams close to the bottom are closer to the bottom. Udom Enoch driving down this right flank, very nearly out of bounds, but no, he does well. Vignesh Vijayakumar uses that, hoiks it over, and here's an opportunity now to run into the box. So Serendib SC, can they get the ball into the box? And that's another one potentially, but no, what a save.
That was a wasted opportunity for Serendib there. They could have gone two up.
Killed the game very early within the first 15 minutes.
But what an attacking play there, Deshan. Is not something that we usually are accustomed to seeing in this tournament so far. Such a coordinated attack. And kudos to Crystal Palace, Serendib, apologies, for managing to do that.
Absolutely, I think they've come in all guns blazing. They're really playing with a very high intensity. And now Crystal Palace with an opportunity. Amounts to nothing. What Crystal Palace really need to do now is slow the game down, get a few touches, pass it around the back. As Enoch once again tries to find that through pass that resulted in a shot in an earlier phase of play, but as I was saying, they need to slow the game down a little bit, because right now the Gampala lads are playing very much on Serendib's terms. But here's an opportunity now for Crystal Palace, and well defended, and looks like it's going to trickle out for a corner. Yes, it is.
Could have had a, and here's a replay of that goal, and it definitely does look like a goal from this angle.
Yeah, I think once again the momentum just taking him over the line, so he wrapped his arms around it. The ball coming in here, great opportunity, and that's a fantastic goal.
And Crystal Palace hit back here with the header. What a brilliant attacking set piece executed to perfection here by Crystal Palace.
It's Michael Akwaye rising highest to head that home. We'll get you another look at that goal as well.
Goal for Crystal Palace, jersey number 12, Michael Okoye.
They haven't had many chances here, Crystal Palace, but when they did, they made it count here today. That was brilliantly done there by the big number 12, Michael.
Mohammad Lutfi making a meal of that one as well. Bilal, he came out for it. Either he should be claiming it or he should be sitting back. So, lot to be desired on his end as well.
Definitely, Deshan. And the game scores now level. Something that we definitely didn't see coming after that after the Serendib attack. However, good comeback by Crystal Palace here. Attempting to go for goal that time, but just misjudging and missing it completely. SERENDIB now look to be a bit shaken here after that Crystal Palace goal. They were doing so well in these opening few minutes, but conceding that goal just seems to have taken the wind off of their sails. It looks like Crystal Palace is now re-energized by that goal, knowing that they can do something here, that the SERENDIB defense is not in fact impenetrable, playing with renewed energy here.
Absolutely, and I think much to the dismay of SERENDIB, they were not expecting for that attack and to concede a goal. Just having a look at that, Hemantha Bandaragoda gets caught smack in the face from a very close quarters as well. I think really feeling the effects of that shot from Frimpong Yao.
Not a pretty sight. Hemantha still on the ground, recovering from that kick. Attempted cross straight to his face. And SERENDIB now here with an opportunity. They haven't really done well in their last few crosses in this game. The ball not going towards any of their players, but finding a wall of Crystal Palace defenders, players instead. And Crystal Palace now having equalized. They'll be looking to go one up here.
Absolutely. Frimpong Yao as well has played in a number of countries. Played in the Ghana Premier League with Asante Kotoko, and then also played for Stead TP Mazembe, and has plied his trade globally as well, playing for Feyenoord Ghana and ASEC Mimosas. The 40-year-old, all that experience, has a very dangerous left foot, and to be facing the brunt of that from close quarters can never be easy, and you can see how much of an impact it has based on how Hemantha Bandaragoda is reacting.
I believe that the experience that these players bring are making the difference here in this game. The replay of the previous goal.
Here's a look at the Crystal Palace goal. Hemantha Bandaragoda with the cross and making absolutely no mistake. Michael, smart play. Sinarasha Askar running to the front post, distracting the goalkeeper Mohammad Lutfi, while Lutfi started flapping about. Ball floated over him straight into the path of Michael Okoye. Hemantha Bandaragoda doesn't have too much of an issue.
That's a great pass into the box there. Vijay Kumar just unable to control it at that point. Crystal Palace now playing with a bit more confidence after that goal. They really did look a tad bit despondent in those opening few minutes.
Absolutely, and nice little battle down that flank, and Odominok really stamping his authority on Mohamed Shamak early doors. That really is that trio that keeps SERENDIB ticking. Odominok, Frimpong Yao and Darko George.
Enoch there just getting a yellow card for that infringement. However, here's Crystal Palace now with an opportunity, attempting to get that kick away. But Enoch doing enough to disrupt him, misjudged that kick. And here's Serendib now attempting to build a counter. But well done there. Good clearance by the Crystal Palace defender. And a misjudgment of a pass here. Now it's Crystal Palace. Ball's cleared away with good bit of defense there on Serendib's end. It's another cross into the box, but well dealt with.
Hemantha Bandaragoda has managed to shake that off, and he's back on the pitch, so it's good news for Crystal Palace. He's gone through the relevant tests, made sure that he's okay to play. Not every day you see a man being stretchered off running onto the pitch 2 minutes later, but I suppose miracles do happen, Bilal.
Definitely Hemantha showing a lot of spirit here for his team, because he's an experienced player and he'll know that his presence in the team actually does make a bit of an impact, does make a difference, and it looks like he has decided that he'll want to continue. Here's Serendib now with an opportunity, just not getting the contact right in that instance.
Darko George does everything right, creates half a yard for himself, but couldn't wrap his foot around the ball, slices it in the process and flies the other way. So unfortunate, but good effort nonetheless by Darko George. And now, here's an opportunity now for Crystal Palace. Isaac Abba very nearly getting on to the end of that, but Mohamed Lutfi not making a mistake and coming on to it. Once again, focusing on working Bandaragoda. Here's an opportunity now. Darko George does well, gets past Riflan. Darko George, can he get the shot away? Takes the shot. And that should be the easiest stop in there is, and that exactly was what it was. And this time, Vijay Kumar Abhishan with the Sioux celebration, scoring the easiest goal he'll score this season. In particular, thanks to a lot of good work by Darko George down this left flank. Hemantha Bandaragoda to blame with some very poor defending.
It was only a few minutes ago, Deshan, that you did mention the impact the trio of players bring to the Serendib team. And it was the pace of Darko George there that allowed him to get to that ball and just get it past the keeper. And the composure there that he kept. Well done there by the number 14, Shemak, the captain. But just not enough. And it's Serendib who are now one up once again. They are leading, putting Crystal Palace under a bit of pressure.
The Ghanaian connection once again working in Serendib's favour. This time the 23-year-old Darko George shows a brilliant turn of pace. And meanwhile at the back, Odum Enoch ensures that the Crystal Palace attack stops in its tracks and concedes a corner on that occasion.
It's interesting to see the formation that Serendib is taking today as well. They usually, Enoch, although he does play in the defense, he usually goes up the pitch a little bit more, tries to make those attacking plays as well. But it looks like today he has been fixed to that defensive position. There seems to have been a bit of a collision there. Right near the box. Both Enoch and the Crystal Palace player going for the ball there, knocking each other's heads. Not the best of crosses after having gone one down.
I think the bigger impact there came from how he hit the deck as opposed to the initial contact there with Enoch. A good opportunity now for both teams in the meantime to get some instructions in, have a sip of water in these hot conditions. Let's have another look at that goal. Beautiful touch to take it away from Riflan. Absolute composure by Darko George. Looks up, looks around, takes a shot. Fantastic defense by Shemak. Very unfortunate that the ball ricochets off the upright and falls straight in to the path of the on-rushing Vijay Kumar Abhishan. Abhishan not shy to celebrate either.
Abhishan in the right place at the right time there. He has been doing that quite a bit in these previous few games as well for Serendib. Whenever there's been a rebound, whenever there's an opportunity for the pass, Abhishan has made sure has been in the right positions, and Crystal Palace really have to be better on the defense there.
And once again, down that left flank, Hemantha Bandara got nowhere to be seen, leaving Michael McCoy, the goal scorer, with a lot to do, and seems to be the flank of choice for Serendib to attack at the moment. Beautiful first touch there. Here's an opportunity and another shot. Very nearly, Bandako George tries to let it roll past him. Well defended. Raju Sananraj. Ball makes its way now. Crystal Palace with an opportunity attack. Enoch not taking any chances. The referee looks like he's about to bring it back.
That was an almost nothing pass there. Just rather hopeful. Booting it to an empty plot of grass there, hoping that an attacker would rush into it. But Enoch leaving nothing to chance here as he chases off after that ball. Play has been brought back, and here's Hemantha now. Ball changing possession. Crystal Palace, whenever they've had the ball in hand, they haven't looked very convincing so far. Even in their last week match, we saw the same trend where their first half performance was a bit lacking, and then they did manage to come back in the second half, especially those last few minutes, and capitalize on the fact that their opposition was a bit tired as well in their game against SLTB last week. However, they are one down here. They'll have to do something in this first half itself to make sure that they can at least stage a bit of a comeback in the second. And I doubt it will be. I wouldn't be wrong to say that Crystal Palace were just a little bit lucky there. And it feels like Riflan is still ruminating on his previous mistake that allowed that first goal to go there. Something that he should be doing is putting that to the back of his head. And it's brilliant to see this Crystal Palace defense here.
A contentious decision here. Enoch Odum looking at it with a great deal of confusion. And he has now got a red card, but I'm not quite sure what that was for Bilal. If it was for the challenge, he got the ball cleanly.
This
Have
is
another look at
huge.
that. Just have another look at that. Enoch Odum. Oh no, he catches the player, doesn't he, with his studs up. So that definitely is a yellow card offence, and credit to Sampath Linagunawardene for seeing it real time. So that's an early shower for him. And suddenly, Crystal Palace will feel that they have a fantastic way to get back into this game.
Enoch's work rate has been phenomenal so far for SERENDIB. Has been one of the mainstays of the SERENDIB defense, and this is a brilliant opportunity for Crystal Palace to capitalize on the situation here. Darko George doing brilliantly there. Darko George still with the ball at his feet, and here's SERENDIB now, the goal at their mercy, and it's a goal! SERENDIB strike right back. This is brilliant, brilliant bit of play here. And it looks like it's Abhinash once again. That's a brace for him. Cheeky little celebration there.
It's all about Darko George, isn't it? What a run that was down the flank. Feeds it beautifully for Yao. And Frimpong Yao squares it for Abhinash, but Darko George down that left flank, the 23-year-old Ghanaian, running past Hemantha Bandara like he's part of the furniture and like he's not there. And beautiful Trivela pass, weighted perfectly for Frimpong Yao. That's another one straight into his path. Then Frimpong Yao had the time, the space and the composure to look up and see Abhinash, and Abhinash makes no mistake.
That's the type of experience that can make an impact here. And Frimpong Yao doing the right thing there, maintaining his composure, staying calm. Just beautifully passing it into the path of Abhinash, who made no mistake there. This game, right when we were thinking that it would be advantageous for Crystal Palace with the sending off of Enoch, SERENDIB have shown that they are not overly reliant on any one player here.
Just as we were speaking about a potential break for the Gampala lads, SERENDIB go the other end of the pitch and convert what was one of the best free-flowing attacking moves we've seen in a while in this tournament. So now 3-1 up. The dynamic changes once again. SERENDIB will feel they've got enough of a cushion now to try and hold on to this game.
Crystal Palace going for an opportunity, the crossbar. And that looks to be offside. SERENDIB, close call for them.
The offside flag there. Coming on that second phase of play, not the first. So Isaac Arba pressing up to try and win the ball back. Wins the offside.
Now the cross into the box. Well dealt with again. Here's Hemantha Bandara, who occasionally plays the role of an inverted right back, but not in this instance, not getting it right. Crystal Palace have the added advantage of having one extra man, and it looks like they're still struggling a bit to penetrate this Serendib defense. Done well there by Lutfi. Cleanly collected.
Lutfi does well there, and that's exactly what Lutfi should be doing with a 2-goal lead, and given the predicament that their playing 11 is in. What Lutfi should be doing is breaking the momentum of these Crystal Palace attacks, slowing it down, because it's their game to lose at the moment. Every time so far in this game, Darko George has got the ball in that number 77 shirt. The fans have got off their seats, and everyone in this ground expects something to happen, so they do have the attacking burst that they can take advantage of, but ball changing hands there, and Gordon Amaseyu losing the ball, but referee says nothing doing. But it's now a throw in once again for Crystal Palace.
It's interesting to see off the ball there that Crystal Palace is still looking to stick to that 3-man defensive line. Is that something they should be looking to change at this point,
Well,
Deshan?
the whole 3-man defense has been quite the matter of contention in recent weeks, as Darko George flagged offside, but I can see where they're coming from. When you do play a 3-man defense, what can happen is you can make the whole pitch a lot more compact, because you have 2 wing backs playing. They play up and down the pitch, and you have 2 midfielders, and in turn essentially structure it a little bit like a Christmas tree. So it packs the middle of the park. But chasing a game now, do they want to have 3 centre backs sitting behind, or do they want to commit an extra man forward? So that really is the question that, in particular, Nalin the Konara will have to answer, because I think a lot of the criticisms that has come of the 3 men at the back formation is the fact that when you are chasing a game, or when you are playing against weak opposition, why do you want to commit 3 full-time defenders? As the ball here comes in, Isaac Arba, just a bit too much on it for him. But yes, that tends to be the case, Bilal, and I think it's important to be flexible with your structure a little bit, at least, because particularly the context of the game does change so fast.
Kunda put it better there, Shan. That's valuable insight. Serendib now tempting to go with those long balls.
And once again, a beautiful pass there, and very nearly finding the goal scorer Abhinash once again, but just a bit too much on it, forcing Riflan to come out of the box and get rid of it.
It seems like Serendib has also changed tactics a little bit here. They are going more for that long ball rather than their previous way of attack.
So another interesting look at the pitch, as you can see at the moment, is the fact that while Crystal Palace seem to be playing a very consistent line, potentially an offside trap as a result as well, Serendib are playing a sweeper to clear things up, so choosing not to look at the offside trap as a means of getting rid of the defense and getting rid of the attack. And well, it's worked for them so far. Good opportunity. Darko George just a bit too much on it, but fantastic pressing, and suddenly Serendib win yet another corner. So again, Serendib, apart from Darko George and Abhinash, who are hugging the touchlines a little bit, playing very narrow and keeping the pitch very tight. It's again interesting tactical ploy, particularly in the context of losing their key centre back. Darko George sends the ball along the ground. Here's an opportunity, heavy touch. Darko George sends the ball deep. And a header, but just unable to get enough power on it despite the direction. It's always going to be tough from that far out.
Something I've noticed in Serendib's previous games as well is that they are, I believe, one of the few teams who can actually execute a style of play where they can quickly switch to the other side of the ground, to the empty side of the ground. And a little bit of a fumble there by Hemantha, but he gets it right the second time. Still giving away their advantage and keeping Crystal Palace under the pump here.
Going down there, Mohammad Rahman. Hemantha Bandaragoda once again conceding a foul, puts his hands back as he speaks to the referee. He has to be careful. He's given away possession a few times, considered a number of fouls, and he's really having one of those days in the office where I think the opposition has come to realize that if they can capitalize on Bandaragoda's shortcomings, that it provides them with an opportunity and a route through which they can really exploit this Crystal Palace defence, and to their credit it has worked so far. Rahman going to be taking this free kick.
Bandara is currently stationed in the channel that Serendib is using Darko George in as well, so he'll have to be a little more on the mark than he is at the moment with his defending. And here's Rahman now into goal there, and done well there by the goalkeeper to keep that out. But what a great free kick there that was by Rahman. Unexpected. And here's Serendib now with another opportunity. It's all happening here in these dying minutes of the first half.
Once again, Crystal Palace defence caught napping. And Serendib, despite being the man short, seemed to be far better of the two sides. And now an opportunity once again for Serendib. Just losing the ball there. 4 minutes of added time put up on the board by Tusita Samira. Darko George once again going at it with Hemantha Bandaragoda. Hemantha Bandaragoda has a little snap. Very nearly Rahman's pass. Just a bit too much on it.
Quite a number of Serendib fans in the audience as well here today in attendance, egging their team on every time Darko George gets an opportunity. And here's Darko George now with an opportunity. Serendib with a through ball, and it's done well there by Michael to stop that attack. It looks like Michael is doing the brunt of the defending here. He's been burdened and a little too much. Once again, Crystal Palace just giving away possession. Almost hopeful kick there. Rather ambitious by the goal scorer.
Absolutely, and again, Crystal Palace not really getting their act together, even so far into the game. Godwin Amaseu hasn't really put his foot down and hasn't really imposed himself on the game well enough. That midfield battle, particularly the likes of Rahman and Frimpong Yao, who drops into that number 10 position. And as you can see, Frimpong Yao and Rahman playing in the middle of the park, and the wingers have now pushed up as wide forwards almost. So they're playing without an attacker, shoring up the midfield a little. So it's a very interesting strategy, and I think it's working. In particular, because of the fact the Darko George is having so much joy in that one-on-one against Hemantha Bandaragoda. So, a very interesting strategic ploy by Coach Murshid, and one I think that doesn't really come to the top of mind when you see it from a lay perspective.
An opportunity. Once again, it's that defense coming to the fore from Serendib. Good cross there. Just not getting the header right.
A bit of luck if that had gone in for Crystal Palace. But they take all the luck they can get given the state of the scoreline at the minute.
Crystal Palace are playing with 4 midfielders today. However, any semblance of midfield control has always mostly come from Serendib here. They just haven't been able to keep control of the ball. Once again, almost breaking off Serendib.
That's the conclusion of the mandatory 4 minutes of added time, so potentially the last phase of play for this half. And that's it. Referee Sampath Lianagunawardena making 2 very big calls in this first half. That first goal for SERENDIB SC and the red card for SERENDIB SC, but that hasn't stopped these lads in the pink shorts from storming ahead into a 3-1 lead at the halftime interval. Very well deserved. They've absolutely outplayed the Gampala lads, Crystal Palace, on all accounts. And as of now, the story lies SERENDIB SC 3, Crystal Palace 1.
What an exciting first half we've had here at the Racecourse International Grounds, and these are the highlights. That very first goal, courtesy of some brilliant play by Serendib and a mistake from the goalkeeper Riflan. Crystal Palace hitting right back with that header. Michael using his height there to his advantage and to his team's advantage. But then from there onwards, Crystal Palace did have a bit of momentum, but then it all stanked down after that brilliant bit of play by the Serendib attackers. Darko George especially, brilliant bit of play, calm, composed, doing everything right, and Abhinash just finishing off there. 2 goals for Abhinash in this half. Serendib definitely had a lot more opportunities. A bit lucky as well to concede only 3. And that was a red card. Sent Enoch away very early. And at the moment, we thought it would prove fatal for Serendib, but then they hit right back with a goal courtesy of Abhinash once again, and a brilliant phase of play by Darko George, storming through that left channel, linking up with Frimpong Yao, and Frimpong just sending it. And the score at halftime is 1-3, Serendib leading, and we'll be going for a short commercial break and be back with a lot of live action from this game.
kick way pitiye jayda jalila de rase Champions League ek had gas mein hanguman kick way java naramenne bhagi dulanne bhidi dasate goal ek gannai sit sarasenne samarok wenne sabdeta denne we are one game one heart one game one heart Champions League this is where we start together we dream together we fight we are the champions the Champions League is finally one game, one heart, Champions League. This is where we start. Together we dream, together we fight. We are the champions. Under the light. We play for love, pride and pain. Every child who dreams a game. Nobody's here, no fear, no end. Just one dream that we defend. Marangal kikkagome, kalathil hrudayam innavumave. Champions League varave, unarvadukke tarume. Cheer ekai kammak denne, kollo set ekama ek wenne. Goal ekata kick ek denne. Champions League mein aramenne one game one heart Champions League satanai aramenne dibi denne jaya ganne ek sinata apiyanne one game one heart Champions League where dreams take part raise your flags feel the art football one game one heart Champions League, forever we play the spirit of football. Leads away.
We are back with live action here at the Colombo Racecourse International Grounds.
So Serendib, for a second there we thought with it all to do, but instead dominating performance, running the show and putting the Gampala lads to shame. But as the second half progresses now, what remains is really to see how Crystal Palace have gone back to the drawing board and how they will now try to utilize the opportunities that present themselves in order to get back into this game.
Serendib still knocking at the door here. And here's Abhinash once again, but he's been called offside. Close shave for Crystal Palace in these opening few minutes of the second half itself. Crystal Palace fans will be hoping they have a second half of the caliber of which they did have last week against SLTB, where they were able to score 3 goals in the second half. But with this Serendib defense, that will be no easy task. They'll have to score 2 here to equalize, and then a third just to make sure they go one up. Serendib, despite having gone one man down, have shown no chinks in this defensive armor. Here's Hemantha attempting to cross, dribbling past one. Ball cross being suffocated there by Serendib defense. Well blocked once again. Crystal Palace with a good phase of play here. Good build up, unfortunately. Not the result they would have expected, they would have wanted.
I think from a neutral perspective, as we have a look at that floated effort coming in by Raju Saranraj. Serendib SC now coming down this flag once again with Abhishan. Holds it back. Vignesh Vijayakumar finds his teammate, and now an opportunity for Darko George, and just pushed off the ball by Michael Okoye. He has nothing, he has no patience for Mohammad Rahman or Darko George, but good spot from Fripang Yao. But like I was saying, Bilal, what this sets up this game to be now, particularly in the context of a neutral standpoint, is Serendib SC 1 man down, 2 goals ahead. But Crystal Palace will feel like they can get something out of this game, particularly as we approach the 70-minute mark and really the game starts to stretch and players start to fatigue. And Crystal Palace will now start committing a little more into attack in order to turn this result on its head. But what that does, and what we've seen so far, is that it stretches the play and gives the likes of Darko George, as well as the scorer of the brace so far, Vijay Kumar Abhishan, the opportunity then to run into space, run in behind, and potentially exploit the attacking commitments of Crystal Palace FC. So, from a neutral standpoint, the next 40 minutes or so stand to be very entertaining indeed, as on this occasion, Raju Sanaraj standing over this free kick, an opportunity to put a cross in, be tight for a shot. And now Michael boots the ball up, he goes down, the referee says nothing doing and points at the corner flag, but Michael may be looking for something a little more. Just getting stuck in there with Frimpong Yao. Frimpong Yao has been essential to what they've been trying to do. And Michael Okoye once again just pleading with Sampath Lina Gunawardena.
Crystal Palace, their first goal was scored off of a corner. They'll be looking to emulate that here. Here's Hemantha with a cross and a shot, and it looked like it was blocked by their own player. Well done there by Mohamed Lutfi to wrest control of his box. Looks like the shot just hit Isaac. However, there was a wall of SERENDIB players behind him as well. Crystal Palace have definitely come out much stronger in the second half than their first. They seem to be a bit more coordinated with their attacks. Seem to be a bit more precise with their passes as well.
And that certainly is positive, because what that suggests is a lot of the coaching instructions has changed and the structures have changed a little bit to accommodate for the new circumstances. And this is exactly what we were talking about. Crystal Palace just needs to calm down a little bit in this game. The shot coming in very nearly, but doing the right things now.
Definitely a good sign, and encouraging for the Crystal Palace fans as well. They're pressing, attempting to press high here, rather than taking a bit of a complacent approach like in the first few minutes of the first half, where they were totally dominated by SERENDIB. Taking a bit of initiative here and playing well in that midfield. And they've managed to get a free kick in a rather good position here. That was Godwin Amisavu attempting to dribble past, but surrounded by a horde of SERENDIB defenders.
So Crystal Palace, so far this half, have played most of their football in SERENDIB's half, and that is a good sign. And now an opportunity for Isaac Arba to potentially test the goalkeeper, Lutfi. Isaac Arba with the shot, Lutfi, very comfortable save at the end.
Lutfi making no mistake there.
Isaac Arba gets the ball over the wall, gets it to hit the target, but there's just not enough pace on that one. And Lutfi was always going to save that unless there was a howl on the card. So Isaac Arba doing everything right. Lutfi equal to it.
Saran Raj has joined the defense in this half. It looks like Hemantha is playing a bit of a midfield position. And here's Crystal Palace once again in that SERENDIB box.
Fantastic commitment on the part of Mohammad Riaz there, gets his body in the way really. And Crystal Palace slowly but surely carving opportunity after opportunity. Isaac Abba potentially offside, doesn't get involved in the play. But Gordon Ramaseu not really able to direct that towards the goal well enough. Just one goal. Just one goal in this game for Crystal Palace will suddenly change the dynamic here on the pitch completely.
Crystal Palace is playing like an entirely different team here in this second half. And that has made things so much more interesting. Instead of SERENDIB just dominating proceedings of the game, it's now more of an equal battle. And here's SERENDIB now. Cuts back in. Darko George.
Trying to do it all himself there. Darko George ran out of support. But with the kind of form he's having, I can't blame him for being eager. Darko George really licks it off the defender. And living very dangerously is Raju Saranraj. Hemantha Bandaragoda once again giving the ball away. Wins it back, however, bit of luck there. And now Isaac Abba with the opportunity to run onto it, but Mohammad Lutfi rather taking no chances.
Hemantha now with the throw in. Once again, Crystal Palace playing at the edge of the box, and here's a cross. Well defended. Hemantha once again across and headed right over the goal, and looks like
there's something you don't see every day. Uncontested. Mohammad Lutfi somehow manages to fall on his shoulder and needs some treatment. Not ideal for the lad, but you can't help but wonder how he managed to do that to himself.
opportunity for both teams to just regroup here, get their bearings right. It's been an intense few minutes. Just a bit of a hold up here. Mohammad Lutfi, 37 years of age, managed to get back on his feet, right into here's SERENDIB straight away with good possession. Darko George with the ball in his feet. Rather tame effort there.
Just doesn't quite catch it there, does he, Bilal? But you can see what he was trying to do. And what's important for Darko George to kind of make note of is not to try too hard. I think what he's fantastic at doing is playing freely, running into those spaces and letting his creativity really come into play. The last few movements, what we've seen is he's trying to force the issue a little bit, and it hasn't been very successful. They've got the lead. They're running down the clock. I know they're a man short, but here's an opportunity now. Darko George, absolutely ball watching there. Michael Okoyo playing him onside. And now, Frimpong Yao. Now ball finds itself back with Darko George against Hemantha Bandaragoda. He'll fancy his chances against Bandaragoda. He takes the shot. And again, trying to force the issue a little bit. Just needs to bide his time. Ball back for a foul there, but again, Vijay Kumar Abhishan, I think what he's trying to let Godwin Amasewu know is that it wasn't intentional, just a bit of a trip unintentionally happening. But the referee brings it back. Crystal Palace now with an opportunity to look and twist and turn. Here's an opportunity now. Try and get the ball into the box. Swings the cross in. Header. Lutfi captures it beautifully, taking no chances. So Mohammad Inam trying to carve something out for the Gampala lads. Lutfi takes care of it. Abhishan couldn't reach that ball, but now a second phase of play. The ball works its way out of bounds, and once again with Serendib Bessi. So as we meet the hour mark, what I think we can derive, Bilal, is that the second half has been a very different story to the first.
Yes, we've seen how Crystal Palace have just come firing from all cylinders here in this second half. They know they're one man up as well, and that team talk would definitely have been something about taking advantage of the fact that SERENDIB FC is playing with a red card. SERENDIB FC also now with another opportunity. Riflan charging down.
Riflan taking no chances there. And now Darko George once again with the ball. Sends it to the middle. Maseu sends it back. Maseu once again boots it straight up the pitch. The ball goes out of bounds. So what does Crystal Palace do at this point? Bilal there, 3-1 in, 3-1 down, 61 minutes into the game. They seem to have done a lot of the right things over the course of the first 15-16 minutes, especially on paper. But half an hour left in the game. Do they need some fresh legs potentially to come onto the pitch?
At the moment, most of the attacks are going through that person, that player there, Amasevu, the number 23. It feels like it would do them a world of good if he gets a little more support from his teammates, making those runs, being in those right places to receive those passes from the midfield by him. They do have some good players on their bench as well.
You can see there what Darko George was trying to do. Turn it immediately on the bounce is what he was trying to do there, but unfortunately not quite successful on that occasion.
Even in the last game, most of Crystal Palace attacks came through Godwin Amasevu. Brilliant vision and good control of the ball also. But he'll just need a bit more support from his own teammates in order to make something here. Because SERENDIB are playing exceptionally well today. Credit to the SERENDIB defense also.
No, absolutely, and I don't think we can discount whether Coach Murshid has changed the instruction to SERENDIB as well to kind of hold fort, frustrate Crystal Palace a little bit, and watch the opportunities open up as a result. And now, as we slowly roll into that 70-minute mark, that sense of urgency that Crystal Palace has to get a goal is going to increase. And here is an opportunity. The shot comes in, and what a hit that was! Out of absolutely nowhere, Frimpong Yao with that left boot of his finds the back of the net, and it's 4-1 SERENDIB. We were just talking about soaking the pressure and then letting rip, and that's exactly what Frimpong Yao did. What a hit, and that easily from 35 yards out, absolutely catching Riflan off guard.
Frimpong Yao just given a little bit of space there. He did attempt such a shot in the first half, but just getting the perfect connection with this shot right into the back of the net. And Mohamed Riflan has no answers. And SERENDIB FC have just managed to go 3 up here. And except for that solitary goal, that header by Michael in the first half for Crystal Palace, they managed to put up an exciting, excellent show here for everyone watching this match. And here's SERENDIB once again, but it's a big man, Michael, who seems to be again doing all the defending by himself in those crucial moments. He's one of the players that Crystal Palace have depended on.
Absolutely, and I think now, if I was Coach Murshid, I have one piece of instruction to my SERENDIB SC charger, which is defend, defend, defend. You've got a 3-goal lead and 25 minutes or so to hold on to it. And I think if they struggle to do that at this point, and now a little too eager there, Frimpong Yao, but Hemantha Bandara catching the brunt of it. He's had an evening to forget, hasn't he? But like I was saying, now they'll feel they've got enough of a lead to really put their foot down and defend for their lives for the next 25 minutes. Bandara seems like he's okay. He's been through more in this game itself, so works his way up, no drama. And now Isaac Arba with the opportunity to make something happen. And I think if Crystal Palace wants a result, just another look at that foul again. Gets his foot on the ball, but goes through Hemantha in the process. So fair call by the referee. But as I was saying, if Crystal Palace are contemplating taking something out of this game, I think they need a goal in the next 5 minutes.
A lot depending on Isaac here. Brunt of the attack will be on his shoulders.
A good shot there by Isaac Arba, but straight at the keeper. It's like catching practice for Lutfi. And once again, Darko George running at the defense. He's got an ever-ready battery attached to him, I swear. As he gets the ball into the box, here's an opportunity now. And maybe a shot. What an effort that was. Doesn't quite catch it as well as he'd like. But once again, you can see the intention from Mohamed Rahman. Beautiful little flick on by Vijay Kumar Bishan. He's having a fantastic game. Rahman does everything perfectly, but doesn't quite catch it. Now, almost can feel, Bilal, that Crystal Palace really has had the wind taken out their sails.
Definitely some sagging shoulders seen from the Crystal Palace players, but definitely not from Isaac there. He attempts to put in that cross and almost got a favorable result for himself. And here's another cross to particularly no one there. Here's Godwin attempting to dribble past, going for that shot.
Speculative effort there from Godwin Amaseu. Not anywhere near the back of the net.
Believe it's the frustration now just seeping in to the players of the Crystal Palace players. Serendib have definitely managed to boss that midfield, dominate those midfield battles, and that seems to have been the key here today for them. Rahman alongside Frimpong Yao have been able to create that cohesion between their players and just making those right passes, feeding it to the attackers who've brilliantly executed their bit as well. And it looks like Hemant Bandara is back on the ground again.
Absolutely, and I think unfortunately or fortunately has been a theme of this tournament. I think Subhani Ahmed, on behalf of Crystal Palace, as well as Physio Seneviratna on behalf of SERENDIB SC, they've got in quite a number of steps, haven't they, Bilal? And it has been an overriding theme over the course of this tournament as well, where players tend to drop to the pitch quite a bit.
Definitely a lot of stop breaks in the game here, and what it does is it destroys the momentum of the teams as well. Just given too much of a breather as the cheeky celebration from Frimpong Yao. Good high pressing here by the Serendib attackers. Is what you'd love to see as a fan. The team still going strong despite having gone one man down, and despite being 3 goals up. They're not being complacent. They're looking for something more. Here's Godwin once again. Right into his winger. It's the number 24 Askar who loses possession of the ball there. Gives it back to Serendib. And here's Serendib now with Darko George in the box. Just unable to control the ball. Quiet tussle in the midfield once again for possession, for dominance. And
Gaba, ball taken off his feet inside the box. And now once again Rahman looking for a hopeful pass. Bit of a foot race. Straight at Riflan. Now suddenly Crystal Palace showing a bit more initiative, showing a bit more intensity. 3 goals to come back from. Not going to be easy. Bandaragoda worked all the way back.
The game in the 75th minute. Just wondering if it's too little too late here for Crystal Palace. They had the entirety of the first half to get something done. Lutfi just going down there. Chalking off a few more minutes of the clock. Of course, we've seen teams come back from goal deficits here, and as the fatigue rolls in, Crystal Palace will definitely look to capitalize on that.
Michael Okoye not happy with that. Sampath Linagunawardena less happy than Michael is, and just letting him know who's in charge here on the pitch. We feel that he had every right to go for that ball, and here's an opportunity now for SERENDIB once again, just a bit too much on it. And Riflan watches the ball go out. 75 minutes on the clock. 15 minutes left, 3 goals to get. Not an easy position to be in if you're supporting the team from Gampala or playing for them, because you're at the threshold of what is possible versus where we stand at the moment, and very nearly Rahman getting more involved now that Darko George is not on the pitch. There's an overlapping runner. Frimpong Yao finds his teammate Abhishan. Abhishan trying to tussle with Michael, and that was only going to be one result. Michael does fantastically well. And now pushing forward Crystal Palace. Ball coming in. Isaac Abba pushed out wide. Isaac Abba tries to find a teammate. The ball went out of bounds. And that really has been the story of Crystal Palace's day, hasn't it?
There's a substitution for Crystal Palace. Uday Kumar coming in for Mohammad Riflan, who hasn't had the best of days. Will be a good opportunity for Uday Kumar to make an impact as well.
So an interesting choice of substitutions here, particularly in the form of a keeper, and it's interesting to figure out what the thinking behind that was, Bilal. Was that a substitution made with the intention of nursing an injury? Was it made with the intention of potentially a tactical play, or have Crystal Palace just written off this game?
Fans will be hoping that it's not the latter here. We're hoping that Uday Kumar has been put in order to get some minutes under his belt, as well as to give some respite for Riflan, who hasn't had the best of days. Crystal Palace once again guilty of a foul, and here's Frimpong Yao. And play continues. Frimpong Yao taken down by referee. Goes ahead with the play. Good run there by Frimpong. Two players down. Godwin Amasevu also on the floor. Crystal Palace will be hoping that it's nothing too serious for Godwin Amasevu. Has been one of their main playmakers, and it looks like there'll be 2 more substitutions for SERENDIB FC. It's Mazahir Ayman coming in, and also Mohammad Sajid coming in. 2 midfielders who have been given the opportunity here to get some minutes under their belt as well, and with some fresh legs infused into this attack. SERENDIB feels like he's looking to elevate their game here in these last few minutes. Abhinash, who scored a brace, will be coming off. What a game he's had. Been in the right place at the right time. And making it count for his team today.
So a few fresh legs coming onto the pitch for SERENDIB. And we'll freshen things up, and I think what they'll want to do is to keep the margins tight and to keep the pitch busy, so that as we roll in to the final 10 minutes and other time beyond that, there's going to be certainty in regards to the result. And I think Crystal Palace have done enough to slowly but surely watch this result now play out. And I think, sorry, SERENDIB rather, and I think Crystal Palace maybe are thinking this one's a bit of a write-off as well. Another substitution, another goalkeeper. This time, Mohammad Lutfi coming off for SERENDIB. He's done a reasonable job. He also left questions that needed to be answered, but the goal scorers have done the dirty work for him, so he's fine in that regard. And on comes Sujay Krishna for the last 8 minutes or so.
Because there are a few more rounds of football to be played in this tournament, and the coaching staff just making sure that all their players get those necessary exposure, those match minutes. Foot race for the ball. Crystal Palace defender getting there first, attempting to build a counter. Uncharacteristic mistake by Godwin there in controlling the ball, however, gets away with it. And here's Crystal Palace now with a rather unimpressive cross there, straight to the feet of the SERENDIB defense. And now it's SERENDIB once again going for that long ball. It's not Darko George there, but the defender still gets, the attacker still gets there. Done well to stop him. Mohammad Shemak, the captain, doing just enough to disrupt the substitutes' run. The goalie doing the rest. First real test for the substitute goalkeeper, and he gets it right, Uday Kumar Ariharan.
Interesting observation as well. 3 goalkeepers on the bench for Crystal Palace for this game, so you know, expecting the best, prepared for the worst by the looks of it.
These dying minutes of the game, SERENDIB still looking to attack here. They are not content just playing at the back, kicking the ball around. Their players are looking for goals. A brilliant bit of skill there to get Michael off of his back. Abhishan. It's not easy to get rid of a player like Michael, who's been one of the standout performers here today for Crystal Palace. Abhishan also having had an exceptional day, just backing himself there.
So now, first kick of the ball now for Sujay Krishna. And whistle gone, and I Don't really understand what that was for. And it looks like Sujay Krishna has stepped outside the box while taking that goal kick. So referee Sampath Lianagunawardena bringing it all the way back. And now suddenly Bilal, a free kick in a very dangerous area.
Isaac once again with an opportunity to make something for his team here, to create something for his team. He's been rather quiet in comparison today for Crystal Palace. He's a player with a lot of potential.
What a header save that was. Going definitely into the back of the net and had Sujay Krishna rooted to the spot. But Frimpong Yao, just like he's been effective on the other end of the pitch, saves a surefire goal there. Just another look at that Isaac Arba's effort. Definitely goal bound. Frimpong Yao. Ball comes in for the corner, however, and here's an opportunity now. Pass coming in and very nearly, once again, blocked. Crystal Palace trying everything they can. Serendib getting in the way. Another bite of the cherry, blocked again. Ball recycled. Still in it. Amasau. Ball coming in. Header. Blocked again. And fantastic defensive play on that occasion by Rishad Umar. But as a team, Serendib have been fantastic, haven't they?
Definitely a balanced performance by them, and you just love to see it. Their attack firing well, their midfielders taking control of proceedings, and their defenders, despite having gone one man down, and one of their main defenders as well, Enoch Udom, they've done extremely well to do things right. It's really concerning that Crystal Palace also haven't been able to capitalize on the fact that they are playing with one extra man here. Definitely some questions. And here's Isaac at the edge of the box. Another attempt at goal. Just too much power behind that as it goes sailing over.
Serendib now with another substitution. Vijay Kumar Abhishan looks like his race is run for today. And yes, it is. What a game he's had. Top tier, scored a brace, right place at the right time. Him on the right. And having that man in the number 77 shirt, Darko George on the left, has absolutely terrorized Crystal Palace. And now coming on in place of Vijay Kumar Abhishan is Mohammad Fazlan, a defender, so shoring up this lead as we roll into the final minute of normal time.
Serendib will definitely be happy with their performance today. A convincing performance that will give them a lot of confidence going into the business end of this tournament. And here's Serendib once again. Michael.
Michael, arms flailing there from Michael, but the referee bringing play back.
If not for the defensive performance by Michael, and that's the sign. 5 minutes of added time. And like I was saying, if not for the defensive acumen shown by Michael Acquire, I feel like there would have been many more goals conceded by Serendib FC. However, another attempt at a shot. Crystal Palace trying everything here in these few minutes. They'll at least want to make a dent here in these 4 minutes remaining for themselves. And Serendib still attacking. Their fresh players will be looking to make an impact as well to show what they can do with the ball at their feet. Doing well there. Mohamed Fazlan, substitute.
And giving the ball away far too cheaply, are they? Serendib, one final wave of attack potentially. Subhasana Fernando, he's been solid today. But the second ball given away, Michael Okoye. Ball fed all the way to the front, but Sampath Bandaragoda. Now shifting to this left flank for the last few minutes.
Huge pass into the box and Serendib loses possession. It's Michael once again with the clearance. It's a tad bit disappointing that he hasn't had as much support from his fellow defenders. He's been playing his heart out today, going after every ball.
And the header as well to boot. Scored the only goal for Crystal Palace against the run of play, so he's done his part. It's not quite supported in the same spirit, and just one of those days, isn't it, for Crystal Palace? Once again, Sinarash Askar, his pass, not really finding his teammate. So, Serendib going to the top of the table, level on points. They'll feel they're well deserved, and an unnecessary foul there from Sinarash Askar. Potentially a yellow card now. Yes, he gets a yellow card for his troubles. And hitting the deck now, Frimpong Yao. A cheap shot there. Frimpong Yao does the first bit of damage. Slashing out.
Like you said, Deshan, unnecessary. However, this will give the perfect opportunity for Serendib as well to just get some minutes off of the clock here.
Yeah, absolutely unnecessary there again. And just another look. Absolutely evident that that was preconceived.
Feel like it's just the frustration as well from these Crystal Palace players. They've done well in the second half, but it just hasn't been enough.
So referee Sampath Lianagunawardana has to stop this phase because it is a head injury, in fact. So Frimpong Yao will take solace in the fact that he has done his job well today.
Exceptional performance today by Frimpong Yao, getting that assist for himself as well. He's definitely made a huge impact. Serendib still committing around 5 players for that attack.
We're expecting a little more time now, Bilal, as a result of that stoppage, and what a terrible goal kick that was. Ball going straight up as we roll in to the end of the mandatory added time. So expect a few more seconds for that Frimpong Yao stoppage. But as we come to the draw, or come to the conclusion of this game, and Frimpong Yao tries to make something else happen. Loses the ball in the process. Crystal Palace, unfortunately, have never looked like they were going to win this one. And with that, confirms the statement I made just a few seconds ago. SERENDIB deserved this game, deserved this win from the get-go. They started off with aplomb, conceded against the run of play, conceded a red card shortly after. And despite all the shortcomings and being a man down, they've always looked like the best side on the pitch. And at the conclusion of this game, it's SERENDIB SC that are going home with the points. SERENDIB SC 4, Crystal Palace 1.
SERENDIB will be mighty pleased with their performance today. However, concerning signs for Crystal Palace. They were one man down, they were one man up early on. One of the mainstays defenders of SERENDIB SC as well, who was sent off. However, they just couldn't capitalize. Once again, they continued the trend of having a not so great first half. And although they did come back strong in that second half, yeah, the highlights was a lot of opportunities from both ends. However, it was SERENDIB that got the better of it. Isaac doing brilliantly. However, each time the defenders all Lutfi. That was the goal by Frimpong Yao. No one expected it. It just gave him too much space there. Frimpong Yao everywhere today in the attack, defending extremely well. And at full time, it's Crystal Palace having scored only the solitary goal courtesy of Michael Akwayu and that header. SERENDIB, of course, an exceptional performance, having scored 4 goals. And we'll be going down for some interviews. We have Nawod at the pitch with the man of the moment.
I have here with me the man of the match for today's game, SERENDIB's Frimpong Yao. Congratulations, first of all, 2 goals. You all have already qualified for the Super 8s. What do you think about today's performance? It was a scrappy game.
Yeah, it's very tough match and then a very good game. After all, we determined to win this one. That's our coach told us. Let's take our mind to win this game.
And what do you think about today's your performance today?
It's very good because if you want to play a soccer like this, you have to work hard. And I told my coach he want to train me hard so that I can win matches for him. So that's the point. The match is very good, fantastic.
Okay, thank you and all the best for the next few games.
Thank you so much.
And that was Frimpong Yao, the MVP for today, and well deserved. Like we did mention before, he was everywhere on the field, getting that assist for Abinash. And we'll be going back down to Nawud. who is on the pitch for us today.
අප සමග එකතු වෙනවා සෙරෙන්ඩිබ් කණ්ඩායමේ ප්‍රධාන පුහුණුකරු මොහමඩ් මුර්ෂිඩ් තරගයේ ජයග්‍රහණය කරා 4-1. නමුත් ගොඩක් දේවල් සිදු වුණා. විශේෂයෙන්ම සෙරෙන්ඩිබ් කණ්ඩායමේ රතු කාඩ් පරතක් තිබ්බා. පොඩ්ඩක් ඩිසිප්ලින් වල මදිකමකුත් තිබ්බා. කොහොමද ඔබ දකින්නේ මේ තරගය?
නෑ අත වශයෙන්ම කියනවා නම් ඩිසිප්ලින් පැත්තෙන් කිසි දෙයක් උන්නේ නැහැ. හේතුව ඇවිල්ලා අපි ඇත්තටම ප්‍රධාන මේ රෙෆ්ලා කරන වැරදි වලින් තමයි ගොඩාක් දේවල් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. මෙතන රතු කාඩ් පතක් මේ ලබන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් දෙන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ මේ වගේ තැන්වල. මේ අනිත් එක ඩේන්ජරස් ෆවුල් උත් නෙවෙයි, ඩේන්ජරස් ඒරියාත් නෙවෙයි. නමුත් මේ අපේ ප්ලේයර්ලත් සමහර වෙලාවට ශනික කෝපෙන් සෙල්ලම් කරන නිසා තමයි මේ දේවල් සිද්ධ වුනේ. මේ නමුත් හිතන විදියට මේ අන්ඩිසිප්ලින් සෙල්ලම් කරේ නැහැ.
ආද තරගයේ මීට වඩා දෙයක් සෙරෙන්ඩිබ් කණ්ඩායමට කරන්න තිබුණා කියලා හිතනවාද?
අනිවාර්යෙන් හිතනවා. අපේ රෙඩ් කාඩ් පතත් ඇත්තටම අපිට පාඩුවක් වුණා. නමුත් මීට වඩා අපිට සෙල්ලම් කරන්න තිබ්බා. අපි ස්කෝර් කරපු නිසා අපි කොච්චර අපි කෑ ගහලා කිව්වත් අපේ ටීම් එක පොඩ්ඩක් පල්ලෙහාට බැහැලා සෙල්ලම් කරේ. ඒ හින්දා තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් සෙල්ලම් කරේ. නමුත් අපිට ගෝල් චාන්සස් ආවා 15ක් විතර ගහන්න. නමුත් මිස් කරගත්තා. මේ හොඳ කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් පිට ආවේ අනිවාර්යෙන් මැච් එක දිනනවා කියලා. ඒ වගේම ට්‍රේනින් උත් කරා, ෆිනිෂින් ට්‍රේනින් කරා. හොඳ ට්‍රේනින් ටිකක් කරා. අපේ ඇසිස්ටන්ට් කෝච්ලත් එක්ක මැනේජ්මන්ට් එකත් හොඳ සපෝට් එකක් දුන්නා අපිට. ඉන්ෂාල්ලා මින් ඉදිරියට සුපර් හිට් එකට තමයි ෆයිට් කරන්න ඕනේ ඉන්ෂාල්ලා.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි මුර්ෂිඩ්.
I was the head coach MRA Murshid of Serendib. Of course, he was talking about how they changed their tactics in the second half as they were a few goals up. They'll be going back to Navod on the pitch for another interview.
අප සමග එකතු වෙනවා ක්‍රිස්ටල් පැලස් කණ්ඩායමේ ප්‍රධාන පුහුණුකරු නලින්ද කොනාර. නලින්ද මුලින්ම ගෝල් එකක් කන්සීඩ් කරනවා. නමුත් ඔගලන්ගොත් ඉක්වලයිස් කරලා ඉවරලා 2-1ක් වශයෙන් තියෙද්දිත් අනිත් කණ්ඩායමට රතු කාඩ් පතකුත් හම්බෙනවා. එතනින් ඉඳලා ඔබ හිතනවාද කණ්ඩායම පොඩ්ඩක් ගේම් එකෙන් ස්විච් ඔෆ් වුණා වගේ කියලා?
ඔව් මෙහෙම ඒක සිදුවෙන්න එක හේතුවක් තමයි අපි තරගාවලියෙන් බලද්දී අපිට තේරුණ දෙයක් තමයි අපගේ අර ඇත්තටම කියනවා මාකින් ප්ලේයර්ලා දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නේ. ඇත්තටම කියනවා නම් අපිට මාකින් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා අපි 6 දෙනෙක් රිජිස්ටර් කරාට මේ මාකින් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා ඉන්නේ 3 දෙනයි. ගෝල් කීපයි සෙල්ලම් කරන ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා දෙන්න. ඒ දෙන්න විතරයි අපිට දැනට ඉන්නේ. අනිත් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා දෙන්නම ඉන්ජරි වෙලා. ඉතින් ඒක මේජර් ඉන්ජරියක් තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් අපිට ඒක රිකවර් කරන්න අමාරු වුණා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා තමයි අපි දැනට මේ ඉන්න ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා මාකින් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා දෙන්න දාගෙන අපි විංගර්ස්ලා දෙන්නෙක් ඉදිරි යූස් කරලා ප්ලේ කරන්නේ. හැබැයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ මේමයි. නමුත් අපේ සීනියර් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා මම හිතන්නේ ඉන්ජරි ප්ලේයර්ලා ඉන්නවා. නී ඉන්ජරි ප්ලේයර්ලා ඉන්නවා 4 දෙනෙක් විතර. ඉතින් ඒක ඩියුරින් ද මැචස් ටූර්නමන්ට් තමයි ගොඩක් දෙනෙක් උනේ. ඉතින් ජාවලින් මැච් එකේ මම හිතන්නේ අපිට ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා 3 දෙනෙකුට මේජර් ඉන්ජරි මම හිතන්නේ 2ක් හෝ 3ක් වුණා. ඒක තමයි ගොඩම බලපාන්නේ. නමුත් අපිට තියෙන ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා මොනවා වුණත් ඉතින් අපි අනිත් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලාගෙන් අපි රිකවර් කරගන්න උත්සාහය ගත්තා. නමුත් අර ළඟ ගෝල් ගිය එක ගොඩක් පසුගාමී වුණා මම හිතන්නේ අපේ කණ්ඩායම. නමුත් ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ කණ්ඩායම දක්ෂ ක්‍රීඩකයෝ ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම කුඩා ක්‍රීඩකයෝ වගේම කියන්නේ විදේශ ජාතික ක්‍රීඩකයෝත් ඉතාමත් දක්ෂ විදිහට ක්‍රීඩා කළා. ඉතින් මම හිතනවා අර ගිය අපිට එක ගෝලයක් යන වෙලාවත් ඒ වගේම අපි එක කන්වර්ට් කරලා අප සමකරන එකත් ඒත් එක්කම තමයි ෆස්ට් හාෆ් එකේ ඉවරෙද්දී අපි යම් කිසි තැනකට ටීම් එක බිල්ඩ් අප් කරත් නමුත් ඉතින් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ සෙකන්ඩ් හාෆ් එකේදී ඒ කට්ටිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වීම පසුබාමී වුණා. මොකද ඒ කට්ටියගේ මම හිතන්නේ උපක්‍රමයක් විදිහට ටැක්ටිකල් පාර්ට් එකක් විදිහට මම හිතනවා ඒ කට්ටිය උපක්‍රමයක් උපයෝග කරගත්තා පසුගාමීව ක්‍රීඩා කරලා ඩිෆෙන්ස් ලයින් එක වැඩි කරන්න. ඒතකොට ඉතින් අපිට තියෙන එකම ඔප්ෂන් එක ඇවිල්ලා ප්‍රතිප්‍රහාර එල්ල කිරීම. නමුත් ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ අපේ ක්‍රීඩකයෝ අසමත් වුණා මේ මොහොතේදී. ඉතින් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඒක තමයි තරගයේ ස්වභාවය. අපි බලමු. කියන්නේ මම හිතන්නේ තරගයේ තව අපිට අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. මොකද ජාවලින් කණ්ඩායම මම හිතන්නේ තරග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. දෙකත් ලේසි නෑ. මොකද නිව්ස්ටාර් කණ්ඩායම සමග සොන්ඩස් කණ්ඩායම දෙකම ඉහළම මේ තරගයේ ඉහළම ඉන්නේ. ඉතින් අපි try කරනවා උපරිම උත්සාහයක් දරනවා ඊළඟ තරගයේ මීට වඩා සූදානම්ින් ඇවිල්ලා මේ තරගයේ ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි නලින්ද දිතරංගල සුබපතන.
And Nalinda Konara just talking to us about how he'd love his team to come back strong and in the next game. And these are the fixtures and results. So far, we've had 3 matches during this week. Week 6 of the Champions League 2025. And tonight we'll be having another exciting fixture. Mathura City Club versus Solids SC. And tomorrow, St. Mary's SC versus Sri Lanka Police, and Java Lane versus Saunders, which will be an entertaining match for all money. And that's it for today from this match. Stay tuned for Mathura City Club versus Solid SC. It's been a pleasure commentating alongside Deshan Gonawala. This is me, Bilal Marika, signing off for today.